But to understand how Thanksgiving dinner turned into a federal crime scene, I need to take you back 8 years to the day I made the biggest mistake of my life. I helped my family without telling them it was me. My name is Maya Patel, and I've been invisible my entire life. Not literally, I'm 5'6", perfectly average looking, with a voice and everything. But in my family, I might as well have been a ghost. My older brother Arjun was the star. Graduated top of his class in high school. Full ride to State University. Came back with a business degree and immediately got a prestigious job at a financial services firm. Mom and Dad treated him like he'd single-handedly cured cancer.
Me?
I was the backup child. The insurance policy in case the golden child didn't pan out. I went to the same state university on student loans. I majored in mathematics because I was good with numbers and it was practical. I graduated with a 3.9 GPA. Dad's response at my graduation: "Good. Now you can get a stable job and maybe find a husband." Arjun's response: "Math degree? What are you going to do? Become a high school teacher?" I didn't become a high school teacher. I got recruited by a tech company in Seattle to work on their data analytics team. Starting salary, $78,000. I was 22 years old and felt rich. My family's response when I told them, "Seattle is very far away. Why would you move so far from family?" Arjun stayed close. "Why can't you be more like Arjun?" I moved to Seattle anyway. 3 months into my new job, I got a panicked call from Mom. "Maya, we have a problem. Your father had an accident at work. He's okay, but he'll be out for 3 months. The disability insurance only covers 60% of his salary. We can't make the mortgage payment. How much do you need?" $2,000. "Just this once. We'll pay you back when your father returns to work." I was 22, living in an expensive city, trying to build an emergency fund. $2,000 was significant, but it was my parents'. "I'll send it today." "Thank you, Beta. You're a good daughter. Don't tell your father. He'd be too proud. This can just be between us." I sent the money that afternoon. They never paid me back. But I didn't mind because Mom called me a good daughter. For once in my life, I was the one helping instead of being compared to Arjun. The next month, there was a different emergency. Property tax was due. Dad was still out. Could I send another $2,000? I sent it. The month after that, their health insurance premium was going up. Could I cover the difference? Just $400 a month, and only until Dad was back to work.
I said yes.
Somewhere around month 4, my temporary help became permanent. The transfers became automatic. And Mom stopped calling them loans. They became family helping family. What I didn't realize was that Mom was telling Dad and Arjun a very different story about where the money was coming from. While I was quietly funding my parents' life, my career was taking off in ways I'd never imagined. The tech company promoted me twice in 2 years. By 24, I was a senior data scientist making $140,000. By 26, I was leading a team and making $210,000. By 28, I was poached by a major hedge fund to build their quantitative trading algorithms. Starting salary, $380,000. Performance bonuses, $200,000 to $600,000 annually, depending on algorithm performance. My algorithms performed very, very well. By 30, my total compensation was hovering around $850,000 annually. I'd built a net worth of $2.3 million. I owned a condo in Seattle with a view of Puget Sound. I drove a sensible but nice car. I traveled to conferences in London, Singapore, Tokyo. My family knew none of this.
Why?
Because they never asked. Not once in 8 years did anyone say, "Maya, how's work going? What do you actually do? Are you happy?" When forced to acknowledge my existence at family gatherings, Mom would say, "Maya does something with numbers in Seattle. Very complicated. We don't really understand it." Arjun would add, "She's a data analyst or something. Good stable job for a single woman." I learned to stay quiet.
To send the money.
To listen to stories about how Arjun was really supporting the family with his contributions. What contributions, you ask? Great question. Here's what I learned later about Arjun's prestigious financial services job. He was a junior financial advisor at a mass-market firm. He cold-called people to sell them whole life insurance policies and high-fee mutual funds. His take-home pay was about $52,000 a year. He lived in a one-bedroom apartment and drove a leased BMW he couldn't afford. But every few months, he'd give mom and dad $500 or $1,000 with great fanfare. Usually at family dinners where everyone could witness his generosity. "This is for you and Dad," he'd say, handing over cash. "Business has been good. I want to give back to the family that supported me." Mom would cry with gratitude. Dad would beam with pride. "This is what family is about. This is the values we taught you." Meanwhile, I was sending automatic transfers of $4,800 every single month, and no one knew because Mom had told Dad the money came from a special assistance program she qualified for when he was injured. Dad believed her because he wanted to believe her. Because accepting help from a program was less humiliating than accepting help from his daughter, the one who moved away and disappointed him by not getting married. So I kept sending money. And Mom kept telling me not to mention it to Dad, because he's too proud. And Arjun kept getting credit for his $500 every 4 months, while I sent $57,600 every single year. 8 years. 60 automatic transfers. $890,000 total. Mortgage payments. Property taxes. Health insurance. Car repairs. Medical bills. Home repairs. Emergency expenses. Everything. I kept perfect records because I'm a quantitative analyst. Data is what I do. Every transfer, every text message requesting money, every excuse for why it was needed. I wasn't keeping records to use against them. I was keeping them because documentation brings me comfort. Because numbers don't lie even when people do. But then something happened that changed everything. I was applying for a mortgage expansion. I wanted to buy the condo next to mine and combine them into a larger space. I was pre-approved. My credit score was 812. It should have been automatic. Instead, I got a call from the mortgage lender. "Ms. Patel, we've encountered some issues with your credit report." "That's impossible." I check my credit quarterly. It's perfect. I'm seeing significant outstanding debt. Multiple credit cards. Personal loans. Total debt of approximately $340,000. My hands went cold. I don't have any debt. I pay cash for everything except my current mortgage. These accounts show recent activity. Let me read you the account numbers. None of them were mine. It took 2 weeks to unravel. 5 credit cards I'd never opened. 3 personal loans I'd never taken. 2 car loans for cars I didn't own. All of them opened using my social security number, my mother's maiden name, my date of birth, information my family had. The fraud investigator was thorough. Within a week, he had his answer. "Ms. Patel, the applications were submitted from an IP address in Fremont, California. They correspond to your brother's home address. The cards were mailed there. The loans were deposited into accounts controlled by him. This is identity theft. Family fraud. We're looking at federal charges." I sat in my condo, watching the rain on the Sound, and felt something break inside me. 8 years. $890,000 sent to my parents. And my brother, the golden child who everyone praised for his $500 contributions, had been stealing my identity for years to fund his lifestyle. The BMW wasn't leased. It was a loan in my name. The business suits he wore weren't success. They were credit cards in my name. The generous gifts to our parents weren't from his earnings. They were from my stolen credit. I wasn't angry yet. I was numb. But numbness turned to fury when I got the call about Thanksgiving. "Maya, you're coming for Thanksgiving this year, right?" Mom's voice on the phone, casual, like she called me regularly. She didn't. We texted about money transfers. We didn't talk. I was planning to.
Good. Because we need to talk to you about something.
Arjun has been very concerned about you. Concerned about me? He says you've been distant. That you never helped the family. That you're selfish with your money while he's constantly supporting us. I actually laughed. He said, "What?" "Maya, it's hurtful. Your father and I have needed so much help over the years, and Arjun has been there for us. You send a birthday card maybe, but you never contribute. You never offer. You just take from this family. I take from this family.
Yes.
The emotional energy. The worry. Your father and I worry about you, alone in Seattle, unmarried, focused only on your career. That's a burden, Maya. Arjun at least gives back. I close my eyes.
Breathed.
Open them. I'll be there for Thanksgiving, I said calmly. Try to be gracious, Beta. Arjun is bringing his new girlfriend. We want to make a good impression. Don't embarrass us with your bitterness. She hung up.
I sat there for a long time.
Then I called my bank. This is Maya Patel. I need to speak to the branch president. I have a significant request. His name was Robert Chen, and he was the president of the Seattle branch, where I'd banked for 8 years. My accounts held $2.3 million. I was what they called a premier client. When I explained what I needed, he was quiet for a long time. Miss Patel, what you're describing, confronting your family with documented evidence of both your support and your brother's crimes, this could destroy family relationships permanently. I know.
And you want me to be there?
To present the evidence. You're the one who's seen every transfer for 8 years. You're the one who helped me compile the fraud documentation. I need someone objective. Someone they can't dismiss. They could file complaints. Claim I'm violating privacy. You have my written authorization to share all information about my accounts. I've already signed the forms. He sighed. When is this Thanksgiving dinner? Next Thursday, 4 o'clock. Fremont, California. I'll pay for your flight and hotel. I'll pay for your time. Name your price. I don't want your money, Miss Patel. But I will do this because what I've seen in your account history, the systematic support of your family while being stolen from by your brother, makes me angry. And I'm a banker. We're not supposed to get emotionally involved. So you'll come? I'll come. But I'm bringing the fraud documentation from our investigators. If we're doing this, we're doing it completely. Thank you, Robert. Don't thank me yet. This is going to be brutal. He was right. I flew into San Francisco and drove to my parents' house in Fremont. The same house I'd been paying the mortgage on for 8 years. The house I'd never been thanked for saving. Robert Chen arrived separately, driving a rental car, at 4:30 p.m. as planned. He'd enter as a lost traveler needing directions, a cover that would get him inside. I arrived exactly at 4 p.m. Mom answered the door. Maya, you're here. And you actually dress nicely. I was wearing a simple black dress. Professional. Not the unmarried career woman clothes she usually criticized. Inside, the house was full. Mom, Dad, Arjun, his new girlfriend Priya, some aunties and uncles I barely knew, and a few family friends. The dining table was set for 14. Turkey in the center. All the trimmings. It looked like a magazine spread. Arjun swept over. All confidence and charm. Little sister, good to see you. He hugged me. I felt sick. Arjun. Priya, this is my little sister Maya. She works with computers or something in Seattle. Very dedicated to her career. Priya smiled politely. It's nice to meet you. We sat down to dinner. Dad said grace, thanking God for family and blessings. Thanking God for a son who takes care of his parents. We started eating. The conversation flowed around me. I cut my turkey into smaller and smaller pieces and said nothing. Then Arjun stood up to make a toast. I want to say something, Arjun began, wine glass raised. About family, about sacrifice, about what it means to give back to the people who raised you. Everyone settled in to listen. Mom and Dad have been through a lot. Dad's injury 8 years ago, the medical bills, the financial stress, and through it all, I've tried to be there for them,
to support them,
to give back even a fraction of what they gave me. Nods around the table. Good son, someone murmured. But it bothers me that the burden falls on one person. That I'm the one constantly supporting them while my sister.
He looked at me.
While Maya focuses on her career in Seattle, never visits, never offers to help, never contributes to the family. I set down my fork carefully. And I know she's busy.
She has her job.
But family should come first. Don't you think, Maya? Everyone was looking at me now. Mom jumped in. Arjun's right, Maya. He's been so generous. Always helping. Always thinking of us. While you send a birthday card maybe. You call once a month if we're lucky. You never offer to help with anything. Never offer to help, I repeated quietly. No, Mom said firmly. You don't. You just take. You take our emotional energy. You take our worry. You never give back. You're selfish, Maya. I'm sorry to say it in front of everyone, but it's true. Dad nodded. Your mother's right. Arjun is the one who supports us. You could learn from your brother's generosity. The words hung in the air. Selfish. Never helps. Just takes. I looked around the table. Arjun was watching me with a small, satisfied smile. Mom looked righteously angry. Dad looked disappointed as always. And that's when I heard it. The doorbell. Excuse me, I said, standing up. That must be Robert.
Who?
Mom frowned. I opened the door. Robert Chin stood there in a suit, carrying 2 briefcases. Good evening, he said in his professional banker voice. I apologize for the interruption. My name is Robert Chin. I'm the branch president at Pacific Northwest Bank in Seattle. Ms. Patel asked me to join you this evening to discuss some financial matters. The room went completely silent. Robert walked to the table and set down his briefcases with a solid thunk. What is this? Dad demanded. This, Robert said calmly, is 8 years of banking documentation regarding Ms. Maya Patel's account activity. Specifically, her financial relationship with this family. He opened the first briefcase and pulled out a bound document. Placed it in the center of the table. This is a complete record of every transfer Ms. Patel has made from her accounts to accounts belonging to Richard and Susan Patel over the past 8 years. I watched Mom's face go pale. Robert opened the document to the first page. A spreadsheet. 96 rows of data. Let me summarize. From November 2015 to present, 96 months, Ms. Patel has made automatic monthly transfers averaging $4,800 to your accounts. Additionally, she's made numerous one-time emergency transfers for medical bills, car repairs, and home maintenance.
He pulled out a breakdown sheet.
Mortgage payments, $342,400. Ms. Patel has paid your entire mortgage for 8 years. Dad's mouth fell open. Property taxes, $88,000. Health insurance premiums, $67,200. Car repairs and emergency expenses, $124,600. Medical bills, $98,400. Home repairs and maintenance, $169,400. Robert looked up. Total transfers from Maya Patel to Richard and Susan Patel over 8 years, $890,000. $890,000. The silence was absolute. You could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. That's not possible, Arjun said. Maya doesn't make that kind of money. She's a data analyst. She's a quantitative hedge fund strategist, Robert corrected. Her current annual compensation is approximately $850,000. She has a net worth of $2.3 million. And yes, she's been supporting your parents entirely for 8 years while you... He glanced at his notes. While you gave them approximately $500 every 3 to 4 months. Total contributions from you, roughly $14,000 over 8 years. Arjun's face turned red. Why didn't you tell us? Mom whispered, staring at me. Because you asked me not to, I said quietly. 8 years ago, you said Dad would be too proud to accept help from me. You said to keep it secret. You said it was just temporary.
So I kept it secret.
And it became permanent. But the program, the assistance program. There was no program, Mom. There was me. Sending you $4,800 every month. Paying every bill. Covering every emergency. While being told tonight that I never help anyone. That I'm selfish. That I just take. Dad was staring at the spreadsheet like it might bite him. Then Robert cleared his throat. I'm afraid there's more. Robert opened the second briefcase. Pulled out a thicker folder. During the course of our banking relationship, Ms. Patel applied for a mortgage expansion and discovered irregularities in her credit report. She asked us to investigate. He spread papers across the table. Credit applications. Loan documents.
Statements.
Someone has been opening credit accounts in Ms. Patel's name for approximately 5 years. 5 credit cards. 3 personal loans. 2 car loans. Total fraudulent debt, $340,000. Priya gasped. Robert continued in his calm, professional tone. Our fraud investigation team traced the applications to an IP address in Fremont, California. This address. This house. The fraudulent accounts were used to make purchases including a vehicle, clothing, electronics, and cash advances. He laid out exhibits. DMV records showing a BMW registered to Maya Patel at Arjun's apartment address. Credit card statements with purchases at stores Arjun frequented, on dates cross-referenced with his social media posts. The evidence indicates that Mr. Arjun Patel systematically stole his sister's identity to fund his lifestyle. While she was sending her parents nearly $1 million in legitimate support, he was stealing an additional $340,000 using her credit. Dad was staring at Arjun in horror. Beta, tell me this isn't true. Arjun's face had gone from red to white. I was going to pay it back. You stole from your sister? Mom's voice was shrill. While she was supporting us. I need it. The BMW is for work. My image matters. Your image. I spoke for the first time. My voice was steady.
Cold.
Your image matters. So you destroyed my credit. You stole $340,000. You let me be called selfish in front of the entire family while you were literally committing crimes against me. I would have paid you back. Like you paid back the $890,000 I sent Mom and Dad? How's that working out? Robert pulled out another document. This is the formal fraud report filed with the FBI and the Federal Trade Commission. Identity theft is a federal crime. Mail fraud. Wire fraud. You're looking at 5 to 10 years if prosecuted. The FBI? Priya stood up. Arjun, what the hell? I didn't mean it wasn't supposed to. Mr. Chin, Dad interrupted. Surely there's some mistake. My son wouldn't. The evidence is definitive, sir. IP logs, purchase patterns, signature analysis on loan applications. Your son forged his sister's signature 17 times on financial documents. Mom was crying now. Not sad tears. Angry tears. How could you? She turned to Arjun. She was keeping this family afloat. She was paying for everything. And you stole from her. You always loved her more. Loved her more? Mom actually screamed. We praised you constantly. We told everyone you were supporting us. We gave you credit for her money. And this is how you repay her? By stealing. The dinner table had descended into chaos. Arjun was trying to defend himself. Priya was grabbing her purse to leave. The aunties were whispering furiously. Dad was staring at the documents like they were written in a foreign language. I stood up. Everyone stopped talking. I'm not pressing charges, I said. Arjun's whole body sagged with relief. Maya, thank you. But, I continued. I am done. Done sending money. Done being invisible. Done being called selfish while funding everyone's life. I looked at Robert. Stop all automatic transfers to my parents' accounts. Effective immediately. Maya, no, Mom started. You have 1 month to figure out how to pay your own mortgage, your own bills, your own life. After 8 years of me paying for everything, you can figure it out yourselves. We can't afford. Then sell the house. Downsize.
Get jobs.
Do what everyone else does. What I've been doing while supporting you, living within your means. I turned to Arjun. You're going to work with Robert to set up a payment plan for the $340,000. If you miss a single payment, the FBI report gets filed immediately. You'll also pay for the credit repair, the legal fees, and the emotional damages. I don't have that kind of money. Then get 2 jobs. Sell the BMW that you bought with my stolen credit. Move into a cheaper apartment. Figure it out. Just like you told me to do when you said I need to contribute more to this family. I looked at my parents one last time. For 8 years, I sent you $890,000. I paid your mortgage. I covered every emergency. I kept you in this house. And tonight, in front of everyone, you called me selfish. You said I never help. You said I just take. We didn't know, Dad started. You didn't know because you never asked. Not once in 8 years did you call and say, Maya, how are you really doing? What's your life like? Are you happy? You assumed I was struggling because I'm unmarried and far from home. You assumed Arjun was successful because he gave you $500 with fanfare while I gave you millions in silence. Mom was sobbing. I'm so sorry. I know. But sorry doesn't pay back $890,000. Sorry doesn't repair my destroyed credit. Sorry doesn't undo 8 years of being invisible. I picked up my purse. Robert will handle all the documentation, the payment plans, the fraud reports, everything. If you have questions, talk to him. I'm done being the family's secret bank account. I walked to the door. Arjun called after me. You're really going to destroy this family over money? I turned back. I'm not destroying this family, Arjun. I'm just stopping rebuilding it after you, and Mom and Dad spent 8 years tearing it down. The difference is, this time, I'm not going to be the invisible foundation holding everything up while being blamed for being selfish. Maya, please. Mom reached for me. I need time to figure out if I even want to repair this. Right now, I feel like I've been paying for my own abuse for 8 years. I walked out into the cold November evening. Robert followed me to my rental car. That took courage, he said quietly. It took $890,000 in documentation, I replied. He smiled slightly. I meant not filing the criminal complaint against your brother. He's still my brother, despite everything. Family's complicated. Family's expensive, I corrected. Robert handed me a business card. If you change your mind about the FBI report, I won't. But thank you for everything. I drove away from that house, the house I'd paid for, and didn't look back. The first 2 weeks were silent. No calls.
No texts.
Nothing. Week 3, I got an email from Dad. Subject: We failed you. It was long. It was detailed. It acknowledged every assumption, every dismissal, every time they'd praised Arjun while ignoring me. He ended with, I don't know if you can forgive us, but I hope you'll let us try to do better. We're selling the house. Starting over. Learning to live on our actual income. It's humiliating, but it's honest. I didn't respond immediately. I needed time. Week 4, I got a text from Arjun. I sold the BMW. Got 2 jobs. Started payment plan with Robert.
I'm so sorry, Maya.
For everything. I responded, good luck. Nothing more. Week 6, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Her message, Maya, Beta, I understand if you never want to talk to us again. But I need you to know, I told everyone the truth. All the aunties. All the family friends. Everyone who was at that dinner. I told them what you did for us.
What Arjun did to you.
I told them we were wrong. I'm sorry it took losing everything to finally see you. I saved the voicemail, but didn't call back. It's been 6 months since that Thanksgiving. Here's where everything stands. My parents sold the house. They moved into a small rental. Dad got a part-time job. Mom went back to work as a bookkeeper. They're living on about $4,200 a month and struggling, but managing. Arjun is working 2 jobs and making his fraud payments. Priya left him. He moved into a studio apartment. He texts me once a week with payment confirmations, always adding, I'm sorry at the end. I haven't responded to any of them. But last week I got a letter. Mom's handwriting. Inside was a check for $500 and a note. Maya. This is the first payment toward the $890,000. Your father and I calculated that at $500 per month, it will take us 148 years to repay you. We'll be long dead.
But we wanted to start anyway.
Not because we think money will fix this, but because you deserve to be acknowledged, to be seen,
to be thanked.
Thank you for 8 years of silent support. Thank you for not destroying Arjun's life, even though he deserved it. Thank you for being a better daughter than we deserved. We love you. We're sorry. And we understand if that's not enough. Love, Mom and Dad. I deposited the check. Started a spreadsheet to track their payments. Because I'm a quantitative analyst, data is what I do. But I also did something else. I called Mom. I got your letter, I said when she answered. She was crying immediately. Maya, I'm not ready to forgive everything. I'm not ready to come back for holidays. I'm not ready to be the daughter you want. I understand, but I appreciate you telling everyone the truth. I appreciate you acknowledging what I did. I appreciate you trying. That's more than we deserve. Probably, I agreed. But it's a start. We talked for 10 minutes. It was awkward, but it was honest. When we hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in 8 years. Hope. Maybe someday we'll be a real family again. Maybe someday I'll sit at their table without being invisible. Maybe someday Arjun will actually become the person they always believed he was. But for now, I'm content being Maya. Just Maya. The woman who learned that helping people who can't see you is just another form of being invisible. And I'm done being invisible. Here's what I've learned. The people who accuse you of never helping are often the ones you've been carrying. For 8 years, I was told I was selfish. That I never contributed. That I just took from the family. While I was paying their mortgage. While I was covering their bills. While I was being stolen from. The truth is, I wasn't the selfish one. I was the foundation they built their lives on while pretending I didn't exist. My mother yelled, "You never help anyone in this family," at Thanksgiving dinner. In front of 14 people. While sitting in a house I'd paid for, eating food I'd funded, surrounded by relatives who'd gotten there in cars I'd helped maintain. The irony would be funny if it didn't hurt so much. But here's what I know now. Visibility isn't about money. It's about respect. And I'd rather be alone and respected than invisible and exploited. I don't know if my family and I will ever be truly close. I don't know if Arjun will ever fully understand what he did. I don't know if my parents will ever really see me instead of the invisible daughter they took for granted. But I know this. I helped plenty. More than plenty. And I'm finally done helping people who couldn't see me while I was holding them up.